Hey guys, in this tutorial we are going to be covering a healing effect particle system that you would place on the ground and either leave statically as a location players can go to heal, or have a character spawn it as a healing location for himself or teammates or allies, anything like that. Now, the effect that we're going to be recreating has been very much inspired by the character Soldier 76 from Overwatch. I hate that guy. I'm very new to the game, and he just like. Well, I'm not gonna go into that. Let's not go into that. Right. We're only gonna need one texture for this entire process, and the rest is going to be maths-based materials. Um, don't let the word maths scare you. I'm going to be doing all the maths for you, so just follow along, and then if you want to change any of it, feel free to, because you might not quite like the effect that we get. So the texture you're going to need is this healing symbol. It's just a plus. In many games and in real life situations, this is a symbol for health. So I just created this in Photoshop using a couple of rectangles. Really easy stuff. So let's start. We're going to make a new material. We're going to call this heal underscore circle underscore M. We're going to open this up. We're going to change this to a translucent unlit material. We're going to grab a particle color node, plug this straight into the emissive color. Now we're going to grab a radial gradient exponential, one of my favorite nodes. Hold 1 and left click for two constants, put 1 into the radius, 1 into density. Now we are going to take the first and we are going to input 0.45, and in the second one we're going to put a density of 100, which will give us nothing yet because it's not plugged in. Let's plug this into the opacity real quick. A very hard circle. I'll just break that. Now we're going to make another one of these because this, if we preview this, is going to be on the floor like so, and we want this to be a gradient. So we're going to use another radial gradient exponential to break this down. So hold 1 and left click twice again, radius, density, and the radius is going to match the previous one of 0.45. The density, however, is going to be 16. Now if we preview this, you'll notice we get another circle, but we actually need this to be inverted so that it removes it from the pre-existing circle. So what we're going to do is hold O on the keyboard and left click for 1 minus X, which inverts. So there you go, you have now black to white rather than white to black. Now we're going to have a multiply the two together, and then multiply the alpha by this, and plug this into the opacity, and now we have this nice ring. There we go. Now, one of the best things about using math-based materials like this is that there is no pixel resolution, there's no texture resolution. So the resolution of this image is dependent entirely on game resolution and screen resolution. So scaling this will not cause any sort of distortion unless you go beyond what the resolution of your monitor can handle. So we're going to apply and save this. Next up, new material, heal underscore dot underscore M, and here we go. One of the best ones that we do in all of the tutorials, translucent, unlit. Now people who follow my videos know where this is going. Particle color into the emissive, radial gradient exponential, multiply the alpha by the gradient, plug this into the opacity, and we have a circle. Yay. Just hold 1, left click for a constant, put this into the radius, no, into the density, break the radius, and change this to 10. Because we actually want this to have a hard edge rather than a soft one. Maybe 10's a bit too hard though, maybe 5. Yeah, 5, we'll go 5. We'll apply this and save. Okay, right click, new material. This is the last one, I swear. Heal symbol underscore M. Open this up, minimize it a little bit, grab the texture in here, hold T and left click so we have our texture sample. Right click, particle color. Quickly change this to a translucent unlit material. Plug the color into the emissive, hold M and left click, and then multiply alpha in the texture, and there we go. We have a plus. So we'll apply and save that. Now we're going to right click and we're going to go particle system, heal underscore circle underscore P. We're going to open this up. Now in our required we are going to find our heal circle underscore M. It should come in. Come on, you can do it. There it is. Alright, so we're going to tick use local space. We are going to set our emitter loops to 1 because we only want it to happen once. There we go. Let's spawn, set this to 0. Oh no, poor particles are all gone. Under burst, in burst list, add an element, and we're going to set this to 1, so we only ever send 1 particle per loop. Off it goes. Now, the lifetime we want to be infinite, so set the zeros on minimum and maximum, and now we just have this ring that's just going to fly off forever. So, initial velocity, delete that, we don't want it to move. Its initial size is very small, so I'm going to change from a distribution vector uniform to a distribution vector constant and change this to 500 in all values. If we just zoom out because it's a bit big now. There we are. Color of life, we're going to go into here. I've saved a color that I liked. Its values, let's just change this to 4.6, are 5, 4.6 and then 1.7. Okay, and then if you want to save this ready for the rest, if we just, because I have this saved here, on either of these, the old or new, if you click and drag them, you can drop them here to save them. And that will then keep this in the project for you to use at any point. Now right click, orientation, lock axis. In lock axis, lock this to Z. So now it will appear on the floor. We're going to save this, drag it into the level, trace it up a little bit because it's currently rendering in floor, and there we go. And you can see we've got this nice gradient ring that represents the area that our player will be able to spawn in. Let's go back into the particle system. We're going to right click, new particle emitter. Now what we're going to do is go to required, and we're going to get our heal symbol, which is our little pluses that we made. The spawn of 20 is fine. The lifetime I'm going to set to 0.5 minimum and 1.5 maximum. So we get some that go quite high, some that just go mid height, and then some that die quite quickly. They're a bit big, so I'm going to change these to a 10 maximum, 5 minimum. Yeah. Their initial velocity is perfectly fine. Their color over life, I'm going to change their in value to the same as the ring. Their out value is just going to stay at white, so they just fade out. Excuse me. Now I need to add location, initial location seed. We're going to set this to 200x, 200y0, minus 200x, minus 200y0. Let me just quickly check this. See, this one's spawning outside, so this is a little bit too big, so I'm going to change this to 150, 150, 0, minus 150, minus 150, 0. Yeah, there we go. Now they're all spawning within the actual radius of the circle. So I'm going to save that and see how that looks with our guy. Let's play it real quick. Yeah, those were a nice size. I like those. So we're going to go back into our particle system. New spread emitter, required. Guess what I'm going to do? Heal dot. This spawn, I'm going to want some more dots than the others, and I'm going to change this to 0.5 minimum to 1.5 in the life. Their initial size is very big. I'm going to change these down to 3 maximum, 1.5 minimum. So they're going to be quite small in comparison to the plus symbols, but that's what I want because we don't want them. We don't want those to take over, but we're just adding them for like an extra little effect. Their velocity is fine. Color over life, I'm going to make the same again. Okay. Now, a little trick here. I'm going to want the same location seed, and rather than type it back out, if you hold Shift and you drag this, you can actually just place it onto another emitter, and there you go. It's now matching the plus symbols. So yay! Okay, so let's save that and see how that looks. Yeah, I'm liking that. It's very nice. It's the corners that are gonna cause an issue, so I might change the spawn. You see how like here we've got like a blank space, here we have blank space, here we have blank space, and here we have blank space. Well, if we was to push this out to here and here, then we're going to get an average of here in the corner, which means we're always going to get some that are spawning outside of the circle. So I need a different way of spawning these. So I might location, maybe cylindrical. What happens if we turn these off? And now in the cylinder, start radius. Let's set this. What was 500 on the thing? Oh, that's a very big radius, isn't it? 250. 200. There's that. Are you getting any that are outside? Let's quickly save and check it out in level so we can actually see it in context. Are they spawning inside or outside? They're spawning inside, aren't they? You know, the best way to check this is to just absolutely kill it. So let's just kill it. No, that he's healing, guys. No, it's just the angle. It's making them look like they're spawning outside, but they're actually inside the circle. So that's how we're going to do it. Now I'm going to go into the spawn and just change that back to 20. We're going to get rid of the initial location seed for both. Cylinder, I'm going to copy and paste across. There we go. So that's a cylinder with a constant radius of 20. And their start height, I'm actually going to change this to 0 because I want them to spawn in the floor. So there we are. Next, new particle emitter. Now, let's go to, we're going to use the dot again, heal a dot. We're going to right click, no, let's spawn some more of them. Let's spawn 100 of these, and we're going to set their lifetime to a constant of 1. Their velocity is going to be 0x0y 100, 0x0y, and then we're getting some disturbance there, so 100, and that should give us like a very even spray. We're getting like a little bit of a jitter here, so maybe I'm not spawning quite enough, maybe 200. It's very strange. Let's change these down to 15 minimum and maximum because I want them to be quite small. Perhaps type data, GPU sprites. There we go. Changing them to GPU sprites is a lot smoother. Now I need these to be the same color, so color of life, change it to this. And now I'm going to give them a size by life. And in the size by life, under the 1, I'm going to change them to 0 so that we get this nice tapering towards the middle. Now let's save that and see how tall it is compared to our guy. Not very. I'm also going to go into the required of this beam, and I'm just going to move the Z up maybe by 5 pixels. Because you notice then it was ever so slightly in the floor. There we go. That's nice. Now I'm gonna make that a little bit taller. The light, so I'm actually going to change the lifetime to maybe 2 minimum and maximum, which will double its height. That's as tall as the guy himself. Maybe that's a bit too tall. So I'm going to change the lifetime to 1.5 and 1.5. Ooh, wait, no. Wait. Oh. That looks cheeky from afar. That looks very cheeky. I like that. We get this nice wisp. But how does it actually look? Actually looks okay, but no. When you get close to it, you can see what's happening. So it's a bit but it's a bit more animated, which is nice. So maybe we can. What do we do to this? Maybe. What if we? Whoa. I don't even know why I asked. I knew what was going to happen when we do this. If we put a rotation of 2, like a constant rotation of 2, constant rotation of 2 on both X and Y, how does that? I quite like that. Briefly fix the bounds, thank you. But if we're doing that, these might as well be flat values of 2, so they all last the same amount of time. So that they all bubble off at the same time. But then location, initial location seed. I could offset these by 2 pixels in every direction to give them like a little wobble. So now it's got like this little wibbly wobbly effect to it. I quite like that because it's a bit more animated, it's a bit more lively. But I'm gonna stay as close to the reference as I can, so I'm just gonna get rid of the orbit, the initial location, and let it do that because that's how it looks in the game, I believe. It's 1.5 on both. Now that's a little bit bright for me. It takes away from the rest of the thing. You notice it becomes almost like a centerpiece, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to go into the dot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the alpha at the end, and I'm going to give this a scalar parameter, so hold S and left click. Plug this in. I'm just going to call this alpha. I'm going to give it a default of 1 so that it's visible. I'll save and apply. And then I'm going to create a material instance of this, open this up, tick the alpha, change the alpha to 0.1, save that, go into the particle system, and then in the GPU sprites I'm going to change this to the instance. Now if I save that and look at it in here, we're still getting, it's fading out towards the top a bit more, but we into the color of a life, go to the alpha of a life. I'm going to change this to a constant, and I think I'm going to put this to a constant of 0.3, or maybe lower still, 0.1, because I just want that to act more as like a marker. Yeah, there we go. So that's not glowing as much, so it's not the central point anymore. So it acts as like a center location, but it's not the centerpiece of the actual particle system. The actual particles are still getting the main focus of attention. So it's just gonna, if we're far away, it's just gonna act as like a beacon, I suppose. But there we have it. I'm quite happy with that. I mean, let's see how we can do some more colors with this. So if we go into the color of a life on this one, I've got this color saved, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to change the values around. I'm going to make it more of a green. There we are. I'm going to keep the value set to 5, so it'll always be glowing. Add the green to this. Green is quite a healthy color although like when people are sick they look more green, don't they? But yeah, there we are. So there we have it. We can take this a bit further and we can make this summonable on a button press. That's already been covered in my magic circle tutorial, so go check that out if you want to learn how to spawn a particle system on a blueprint. But this has been quite a fun little experiment. This is quite a nice particle system. I might even end up using it somewhere, I don't know. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys, and it's something that you can use.